Welcome, PVT Express News. Subscribe to the channel to not miss new videos. And now for today's content. In an industry built on perfection, one actress reminded us what it means to be real. The entertainment world is a place where appearances are meticulously maintained, where every smile is rehearsed, and emotions are often carefully curated. Moments of raw vulnerability are rare, and when they appear, they resonate powerfully. Songyun, a Chinese actress beloved for her cheerful demeanor and youthful charm, recently revealed a different side of herself on the variety show I Want to Fall in Love. Known for its light-hearted themes, the program took an emotional turn when Tan, visibly moved, turned to host Hee-jeong and softly asked, "Is there a man around you whom you can call?" It was a simple inquiry, but behind it was a world of emotion. Her voice trembled slightly, her expression sincere. It wasn't just about companionship, it was about longing. Longing for trust, for emotional security, and perhaps for a kind of love that had always eluded her. At that moment, Tan wasn't playing a role. She wasn't the bubbly star of Go Ahead, Under the Power, or the Whirlwind Girl. She was a woman confronting the loneliness that can exist even in the brightest spotlight. Host Hee-jeong didn't brush off her words with humor. Instead, he responded with quiet empathy, sharing that he, too, had once voiced a similar yearning. His life, he admitted, was still packed with commitments and empty nights. Tan smiled in return, a bittersweet smile that spoke volumes. The kind that comes from hoping too long, from believing despite the fatigue. As she navigates her 30s, Tan faces the dual weight of professional expectations and societal pressure to settle down. Yet her words didn't come from external expectations. They came from the heart. She's not asking for wealth or fame in a partner. She simply wants someone who will listen at the end of a long day. Someone who will be present. Someone who sees her. Not just the actress, but the woman behind the roles. In Chinese pop culture, when female celebrities open up emotionally, it can provoke mixed reactions. Some admire the courage, others criticize it as weakness. But Tan didn't craft a media statement or pen an open letter. She asked a question. And in that question, there was a quiet strength. Opening up about past wounds is never easy, especially on camera. But Tan has known deep pain. The loss of her mother in a tragic accident shook her world and led her to step away from the spotlight for a time. That grief didn't make her bitter, it made her more human. More real. In interviews since, she shared how the absence of her mother has left her yearning for emotional stability. Not to replace what she lost, but to find someone who can share the journey ahead. Someone who will take her hand and say, "You're not alone." Though she radiates brightness on screen, Tan doesn't shy away from acknowledging the shadows in her life. In an industry that often sidelines actresses in their 30s, she continues to evolve. Her recent roles reflect emotional depth, from civil servants to heartbroken women trying to rebuild. Perhaps that's why audiences connect with her so deeply. She brings honesty to every character, not just performance. And in being so open, she reminds viewers that it's okay to feel, to long, to hope. Her emotional moment on "I Want to Fall in Love" quickly struck a chord. On platforms like Weibo, her name surged to the top of trending topics. Fans and strangers alike flooded the comments, not out of pity, but out of recognition. They saw themselves in her. Songyun didn't stage a performance that day, she simply let herself be seen. And in doing so, she touched hearts across the country. "I didn't expect to cry over that simple question," one netizen wrote. "Don't we all just want to be loved by someone we can trust?" And from there, Tan became more than a celebrity. She became a symbol of vulnerability embraced, of honesty unpacked. At the end of the segment, as the camera panned away and the background music filled the room again, Tan looked down for a moment, as if to collect her own thoughts. But those eyes, the ones that had previously been filled with stage light, now held hope. Not hope for a dramatic love story like in dramas, but hope for reality. For someone who would choose her even when she wasn't smiling. Someone who would see her when the camera was off. Someone who would love her not because she was Songyun the actress, but Songyun the woman. Songyun's story isn't just about love. It's about struggle. About how to survive being yourself in a world that constantly demands perfection. About choosing to hope, even when your heart is tired. About believing, even when you've been disappointed so many times. And for all those out there who have been silently asking themselves, is there anyone I can trust? This story is the answer that you are not alone. That even stars feel lonely. And if they can keep hoping, so can we. When the cameras stop rolling and the stage is cleared of spotlights, Songyun is still the woman who goes home with a heavy weight on her shoulders. She once said in an interview that loneliness doesn't come suddenly, but grows slowly in the midst of achievements and successes. Sometimes, she said quietly, we are so busy chasing our dreams that we forget that our hearts never really have a place to rest. But she never complained. She just kept quiet. In that silence, many of her fans were touched. Because they know that it's not easy to be a strong woman in the spotlight, especially when your heart is still holding back unexpressed longing. Therein lies Tan's strength, in the calm that hides the storm, in the look in her eyes that says, I'm okay, even when she's not. Please leave your discussion. Welcome to leave comments. Welcome to my channel. Thank you all.